virtual room as well. She's the learning solution partner at Y Training. She will address your questions, inquiries, concerns in the chat. And Nadia is the jack of all trades. She will also assist the technical support for this session. Thank you very much, Nadia, for your instant and continuous help. So any questions, anytime you have, you're welcome to address it in the chat. In Y Training, we have created a secret source of learning experiences. It consists of 3 ingredients. Ingredient number 1, the insights are based on the latest scientific research findings and relationship psychology, those things that we share with you. Number 2, you learn approaches during the learning journey that are translated into applicable strategies, and you can use them immediately the moment when the session is over. And number 3, the third ingredient of our secret Y Training source, fun and interaction. And to get the flavor of that, I would like you to look around on your screen and see how you can feel yourself fully engaged and immersed in the training. This is the screenshot, what you see in front of you. So at the very top of your screen, good, someone started practicing already. Wow, that's good. Thank you. So let me explain this in a little bit of details, and later on we'll practice together. So at the very top, what you can do, one of the ingredients of the engagement is to have the camera on. When we have the eye contact, the click happens. By default, you're muted, but you have alternative ways to interact with me as well as the rest of participants. So this is what you can do. So you can see the chat and type it there, whatever thing you have in your mind, and comment or probably question at any time. You can see all the participants list. And of course, you can take notes. These notes you can save and go back to in the course of the trainings that you took and refresh your mind at some point. And alternatively to the speaking on air, you can use this option when you click. It means raised hand. We address your question straight away. Another thing is what you can do on the screen. So here you have the whole set of annotation tools. It could be the pointer. It could be drawing. For example, if I want to draw something on the screen and it is a happy face, I hope it looks like me. Okay, something like that. So you can draw this on the screen at any time. You can choose, by the way, colors, preferred colors. You can do text on the screen. For example, if I want to give a comment on the screen, yes, I see you started practicing. Great. Just type on the screen. For everyone who just joined, hello, greetings from Y Training. This is what I did. So this is the option of the text. All right. Good. This is one of the ways to get engaged. And I would like to see this engagement in my next activity for you. I want to know a little bit about you. Just one single word that the most describes you. But you have to think about this one word. All right. I like that you're practicing. That's great. This one word that describes you the most, but it should start with the same letter as your name. In my case, I have picked up the word laughing Larissa. Why laughing? I'm optimistic. I'm always looking at the bright side of things, even right now when we are a little bit in a tougher time than usual. I'm talking about COVID situation. I find it as a great experience. When else, right? So let me open the white space for you. Use the option of the text and introduce yourself. So welcome. You're the most welcome. This word should start with the same letter as your name. Be specific. All right, in big letters, all right? Mindful Mohammed. Oh, that is very important to be mindful. Great. All right, happy achiever. All right, whose name is that, I wonder? Okay, so let's move a little bit aside to see all the comments. Welcoming Walla. I like it. Who is also optimistic? Abdulaziz, I see. This is you. Joyce Jamel. Right. That's a good one. Motivation, Mohammed. Any question about motivations goes to Mohammed. Right. Very good. So, all right. We have a comment from Mustafar. So you mentioned happy. Okay. So what was that? I wonder. Okay. Warm welcome. Yes. Giving warm welcoming. That's wonderful. Great. Yes, you see, it's a playing ground. Sensible, Sarah. Sarah, it's good to be sensible. It's nice because it's a human nature, right? Yeah, humanizing yourself. Happy, Hanan. I like to hear that. I hope not because today is Thursday, you're happy, right? All right. Happy achiever. Yeah, if you more look into that, so you see, I'm asking you to get a bit out of the comfort zone, not just to give any word, but the word starting with the same letter. Good, fantastic. Thank you very much. Happy, motivating, sensible, and very much warm and bravo and optimistic people. I'm glad. That's a wonderful team today. So usually for each session, we create a sort of a motto, if you like, or a sort of a tagline. And today, I think the tagline for today, especially when we talk about resilience, is tough times don't last. Tough people do. You know, as we learners, as people who are open-minded to get new things, most likely by nature are visual people, I would recommend to have this as your screensaver, as a visual cue in front of yourself. I think it could be the slogan of 2020. Tough times don't last, tough people do. So let's start our activity, our session with one of the activities. What I want you to think of. First, let me share with you the quote of a famous horror fiction writer, Mr. Lovecraft. So his quote is shaped this way. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of thee. And your task is to give your options. I'm going to open the poll for you for that. And please type in your option. What is that biggest fear? So welcome. Just one word that comes to your head straight away. What are those fears that paralyze a human being, that stops actually any human being to move forward, to grow, to risk probably, with the purpose to learn something new about themselves? All right. I'll give another 10 seconds. I see the count in there. We have examples of answers. As this is the biggest fear of everyone. Might never thought of that. All right. So in 7 seconds, we're going to finish 1 minute for that quiz and see the results. All right, let's see what are your results. I'm going to reveal these results to you. And I'm very curious to see what that is. Okay, so let's see. The results are, all right. Okay, so let's see. What are the results? They're not visible for you. Do you see any results? All right, no result. All right, so if there is not showing up, no worries. So can I ask you to type this word in the chat then to make sure that we read the answers? So what? Unknown. All right. Fear. Great. Unknown. Unknown. Change. Ambiguity. Another good word. Thank you. Loss. Failing. All right. There's a good option of choices. Wasting time. Crisis. Fear. Future. Loss. Wow. Very good choice. Let's go back to the original one and see what actually Lovencroft mentioned. So what he mentioned in his example, and this is the one, the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Yes, fears paralyze us. Fears stop us from developing stronger features in us. And you know, if we ask a bit more into details, what are your fears? Most likely I can hear fear of height, fear of the rat or insects, probably fear of water. And I would like to share with you the story of how one world-renowned scientist, social scientist, his name is Albert Bandura, discovered that people who are terrified of snakes can actually overcome that fear almost overnight. Can you believe that? If you are so much afraid of darkness, yes, or probably jumping from the height, you can do that by exposing yourself to a snake, for example, the case with Bandura experienced, in a very deliberate and careful way. Is there anyone in the chat who are scared to death, scared of snakes? Is there anyone? Please admit your fear. So we do have, yes? Yeah, lots of you. Or even if it's the most beautiful, colorful creature, oof, that's something very creepy, yes? All right. So we're all seeing the screen, correct? Yes, no issues. Just let me know. By the way, Nadia is there to support you if there are some technical things. Please address this in the chat. Thank you. All right. First, how he explained this process. He would recommend the person to watch the snake from the doorway. That was one of the first things. Second, the person saw that someone else in the room managed to handle the snake. You don't like the page? That's why, Jamila? All right. Think about this from the resilience point of view. I know, maybe the prettiest side. So let me finish the story first. Okay, I see that even the picture, wakes up this fear in you. Then the person was asked to have a step forward, and gradually, step by step, by the end of the day, the one who was intimidated by snakes managed to hold the snake in her hands. So even the strongest behavior could be altered. So with the determination and with the open mind, we can overcome any fear, even the biggest fear that we have. All depends on you, specifically on your mindset. I have a choice for you. Yes, Jamil, this is for you, the new slide. The choice for you. Let's look at the choice of A, kind of internal thoughts, illustration, what we can think of. And part B, what would you choose? A or B? Have a minute of your time, read through them. Oh, yes, I see someone. Yes, Hani, thank you very much. You're moving ahead. Well, we see a lot of options of B's. Correct. So this is a very clear option. I would like to look at failures as the opportunities. I'm the one who learns from feedback. You're absolutely right. Here we're talking about two types of mindset, the fixed mindset as well as the growth mindset. Yeah, ideally, we would like to have the B option, the growth mindset. But let's admit, honestly, let's admit, we have seemed to have at least one of the thoughts from the side of the fixed mindset. Have you ever caught yourself thinking out loud or inside your head any of these thoughts? What are those examples, Hanan? So you said yes, sometimes. Any particular phrase? You can use annotation tools and check it on the screen. Is there anything that really is your, let me name it, sin? Yes. Oh, Hanan, I'm very much aligned with you here. I'm the one. Exactly. Yes, exactly. I'm either good at that or I'm not. I'm a very big perfectionist by nature. And this thought stops me. So it stops me to have this first with growth mindset approach towards my fear. It stops me to develop a new ability. So if I have dedication and effort, I can literally move from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset. So, and yes, absolutely, Wefak, that's a very good comment. I stick to what I know because this is very comfy. It's like a very warm cocoon. You're under the very warm blanket. You feel so cozy, yes? It's a bit too much, especially when you feel happy about everything. So the question here is, should not be, can I do that? If we are targeted at the better of us, so we're not perfect, definitely, but we may have an option to be better ourselves. If we focus on that, we need to question ourselves, how can I do that? Yes, stepping out of our comfort zone, but helping us to see a different perspective. The researcher, the standard professor Carol Dweck, that explored the question of fixed mindset and growth mindset, said this: a growth mindset changes what people strive for and what they see as success. It changes the definition, significance, and impact of failure. So today we are embracing the following points in the agenda. to see how we can embrace growth mindset, how we can step forward and reframe our mindset. First, we'll look at what resilience is. The next one, we'll focus on the concept, circle of influence and circle of concern. Mohammed, if you say I always try, and even if I fail, I think that could be another motto for 2020. Always try. It's better to do and feel sorry. Yes, and that is aligned with the concept of circle of influence and circle of concern. Than not to do and feel sorry you didn't try. Yes. The next thing is we'll look at the concept of missing child syndrome. I wonder how much you know about that. And we'll touch upon learned optimism. We have not a lot of time, but we have the target to scratch the surface of resilience. That's our plan for today. First question to make it clear is, what is resilience? In the chat, I would like to hear your opinion. So this is where we have the chat option indicator. In your own words, how you understand what resilience is. Never give up. Simple like that, to the point. Thank you very much, Sahid. Adaptable, the ability to recover after difficult time. Right, very good. Oh, like cactuses. I like this image. I like metaphors, images. Together with the snake, we have the image of the cactus. To see challengers as opportunities and navigate through life with rising after falls. Great. Coping with the situation. Recovery quickly. Big letters. And you thank you. Ability to stand up again. Right? Dreaming never stops. Yes. Perseverance. I like this word as well. Very good. So speaking about resilience, we can say definitely that is the ability to bounce back, the ability to absorb high levels of disruptive change while displaying minimal dysfunctional behavior. It's a very solid definition of resilience. In other words, resilience is the capacity to bounce back, right? That's why we think about resilience as the spring or the rubber ball. What is the beauty of the rubber ball? It bounces back because it has flexibility and it is incredibly strong. That's why when it bounces back, it regains its original shape straight away. It's about being flexible. Yes, believing the sun will rise again next day. It's about keep dreaming and trying. This is all about resilience. The thing is that every individual has a choice. Whether to choose the fixed mindset, that's your choice, of course, and be comfortable, feel always comfortable. But what that person feels when adversity comes into the life, when something is completely changed, that is the question mark. You can stay there or you can have a step forward towards your fear, try it, and think how resilience will benefit you. So to be there or not to be, as the very common question of humankind, this is your choice. Never withdraw. I like this idea. Right. Tolerance for change. Yes, I like this concept again with the concept of resilience to be tolerant. I would say / patient, because resilient skills require time as well, together with patience, to get developed. So if you do it over the night, great. But like with that snake, you need to do baby steps, step by step. But if you are determined, you are enchanted by growth mindset, you'll do it definitely. A good quote to sum up what resilience is all about will be from the sportsman. He was engaged in basketball, football, and all other kinds of sports, as well as a coach he was. Wes Fessler. Resilience is the ability to attack while running away. Yes, running away, but different direction. A better way to a better yourself. That's what I would say. The choices, after all, are all yours. Good. You choose happiness or you choose sadness. You choose success or you choose failure and stick to that. Just remember that every moment, every situation that you choose, stepping a little bit outside of your fixed mindset, reframing your thinking, provides you a new choice. It's a perfect opportunity to do things differently and see your capabilities. That's why we're talking here about the concept of circle of influence and circle of concern. Raise your hand, tell me, yes, I know. Who is aware of this concept? So that was very much popularized by Stephen Covey in his beautiful book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is something exceptionally classic. and something that you have to get on your table. Yes, you have learned that. Yeah, just let's remind ourselves what is this all about and how it is aligned with the concept of resilience. So there are two things in our life. So Stephen Covey describes them as, first, we have something that is the circle of concern. It's outer, because these are most likely external factors, right? Things that we have a big concern about. What are those things that you are concerned about? What you can place in the circle of concern? The scope, the variety of things is great, huge, I would say. COVID, which is, Mohammed, the health of yourself and others, your loved ones. Good. Mustafa, you are concerned about people's reactions and emotions. All right. But the next question would be how you can evaluate your ability to impact these concerns, right? There's still something that you cannot, economic condition, for example, Zahid, yes, or how people react to things, or it can be your circle of influence. Circle of influence, these are the things, the situations which you have big or to some extent control on. If you adjust them the most, what happens? You increase your circle of influence. It becomes better, bigger. It means that you are more proactive. You are less stressed. If you focus more on things that are out of your control and you stay in that cocooned, fixed mindset, this is the issue, because it's increasing the circle of concern and it pressurizes the circle of influence. I know sometimes you want to impact, but it's almost impossible because it's out of your reins. Yeah, if we look now at the economic condition situation, right? This is something that you can hardly have the control, but you can have control on your emotions and reactions, on the ability how you can utilize this opportunity. As they say, when you have exited the lockdown without a new learned skill, that is not because you always complain, I don't have time. This is because you haven't received enough self-discipline and desire and open-mindedness to learn something, right? Yeah, of course, you cannot change everything. Absolutely, Hanan. Yeah, we're not superheroes, and we have to acknowledge that. We cannot change, we change how we take things. That is the approach. How would you know that someone is more focused on the circle of influence, being a bit more proactive, getting a step ahead, or circle of concern? You know that words that we use, they actually reshape our mindset. And mindset impacts the way how we behave. This is the triangle: thoughts, behavior. It's about the words. Everything is all interconnected. More positive words, more chances you are moving yourself towards the growth mindset. Let's see how through the words it's happening. So yes, thank you very much. I see some support. 100% of life is about your mindset. Yes, Brandon, that's absolute. Everything is in your hands. Right. So let's look at the set of words. First, how reactive, or people who are focusing too much on things they do not have control of, they are reshaping that. So let's have a look at that together. So what is happening? They say, I more like into the halves of the situation, right? I will be happy when I have a full establishment. If only I had a boss who wasn't, right? If I had respect from, if I could just have management days, if the environment was more conducive or helping and assisting me, right? This is definitely when we speak about being more stressed in the fixed mindset, because we don't step out of our comfort zone. Again, it's not easy, but it's our decision. So conditioning statement, absolutely, or trapping thoughts, in other way we can describe them. Good, thank you. Next is being proactive. Yes, it's about, all right, it's about making it clear that we prioritize the word be. I can be a better role model. I can be more organized and resourceful. I can be more loving, understanding. It will be more diligent. I can seek out personnel and be able to understand. So this is about word choice. Ask yourself, what is the most common trapping you in the fixed mindset thought from the above mentioned among haves? Or maybe you're more into bees. So I'm going to do that. I'm having it. And I like the comment that is in the chat. It's not easy for some people, or it's naturally happening for others, Mohammed. Fully agree, fully support. But what is another takeaway from here is that much depends how you approach that. If you are determined to change things, if you're determined to acquire the skill of the growth mindset, you'll do that, because every single skill is a learnable skill. Martin Seligman, the father of the learned optimism, is the one who promoted this idea through years of research. Everything can be learned. They say if you are into playing the piano, you can do practicing from scratch. It doesn't matter what age you are, for 10,000 hours. I know that's a lot. That's a lot. But if you're determined to practice that, that's your first step to be the one who is going to rent out Carnegie Hall stage and perform something. I know sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. But again, it's your determination. So let me see this example. I call it resilience in action. Let's imagine that you have been working very hard for the last 10 days, let it be 10 days, on a very important report. Now you're so happy with the result. You're pleased to see the slides you prepared and the flow and everything. And now you are looking forward to hearing your manager's feedback. And after the meeting with your manager, you hear one phrase: I'm sorry, you have to rewrite it. Well, why? Maybe the customers change their mind and change the specs. Maybe, and we see that the overall situation has changed. The business has to change the expectations, correct? The business has to change different time frames, probably requirements. So what would you do next? The moment when you hear your manager tells you that, honestly, don't make it perfect yourself. What will be maybe the first thought that will cross your mind? Very disappointed, I'm sure. Yes. Very upset, even more, very, very much from my side. Frustrated. Yes. Well, now, Hani, we see that you are switching into the growth mindset. You are not in the victim mindset. Well, it's happening. Yeah. So why me again? No, but why? Yes. Why it's happening? You can ask why. Yes. And next, what you do, having learned the reason, you go back to your computer, you open up the file. What is your circle of influence right now? With the new received information, sit down and reset it, readjust it, asking for the specific feedback, taking that on board professionally, and do the activity. That is absolutely fine how it happens, right? Again, it much depends what you are by nature, how you take the concept of resilience by nature, and how much you're open to the growth mindset. So I want you now to think about this question, and I'm going to reveal to you 9 statements, and you will take 2 minutes of your time to evaluate your resilience level. I want you to be very honest with the statements. Have a mental note, have little calculations. You might use the chat for that, just to write it down, or maybe in the notes section. And then we'll see where you are fitting into the continuum of resilience. Here are the questions of statements, 9 of them. So number 1 means it is something that I strongly disagree. It's not me at all. Actually, you're not the perfect you. 5, I strongly agree. That describes me to the most. So I'll give you a minute and a half, 2 minutes, just to contemplate. Perfect time for self-analysis. So welcome. Good. Thank you very much for sharing, by the way. That also takes a step of courage to share something that is not about you, or something that you would like to have but you don't have. That's a big step of courage. By the way, resilience people are ready to admit something that they have missing, gaps, probably challenges, something they have to work on. Beautiful, beautiful quality of a resilient person. If you can add up things and give me the number. Right, Shamil, thank you. So if you do a little bit of calculations, overall 50, Sahid, great. 40, 42, nice. Yeah, we would like to be perfect. We would like to be ideal, but let's admit and confess we are not. But we have a good opportunity to become better. Good. 42, 50, 70. Oh, 47. 47. All right. Good. 39. All right. Before I reveal the little descriptions about the scoring, let me tell you, there are no good or bad results. So you should not worry a lot about your results. What you should worry is that you do not take a step forward towards becoming better you, or trying the mindset of reframed type, right? To have a step towards your snake. So this is something that should worry you. But the results that now you are going to see, they are coming. Yeah. It's not something to be concerned about. So think about this, what you can take away, how you can reframe your mind and make it a growing one. So let's look at that. Take the option and tick where you are fitting into. Let's see how many ticks we have inside low resilience, some resilience, adequate resilience level, and highly resilient people. Can you please tick that on the screen? All right. So where do you fit into? We can do it right now just to see where people are. Right, in the middle. All right, some resilience is there. Great, thank you. Adequate resilience. The task is to see, and by the tick annotation tool, show where you're fitting into, in what group of resilience level. Some resilience, yes. Great, you're on the way, on the good way. This is the pathway, yes, towards a higher level. Great. Very good. So once again, the worry should be if you are not taking further steps to move ahead. I want to do some activity with you. This activity is very simple. You don't need to move around. I don't ask you to do something exceptional, extraordinary. I want you to touch something. Can you touch something right now? Okay, good. All right. The question number 2 is, did you use your hands to touch things, and what did you touch? In the chat, can you tell me this, please? So, okay, what you used to touch and what you touched. So you touched your face, your notebook, calculator. Oh, good. The mouse. What did you use to touch? The mouse, hair. You use your hands, right? Yes, hands. Yeah, everyone used the hands. That is so surprising. Well, hands are fingers, yeah, but at least this part of your body is so surprising that the majority of us, I would say everyone, touched different things with their hands. Do you know that we have more nerve endings with other parts of our bodies that are connecting to the brain, the signals? But the question is, why did we use hands? That is the way we have always been doing that. Your brain tells you there's one way to solve the problem. This is your fixed mindset. So use your hands. This is how we are being taught. This is how we see others are doing that. All right. Let me ask you right now to touch something again. Let's pretend you cannot do this with the hands. So what do you use to touch something around you, if not hands? Please let me know in the chat. Feet. Stare. Oh, that's a very good one. You stared at something. Yes, sometimes the stare can burn a hole. All right, another person. Elbows, shoulders. Okay, your mask. So by your mask, okay, I hope that you didn't use your tongue to touch things around, all right? And you're not in the Starbucks somewhere there. All right. So again, going back to what happened the second round. So there was a problem. You cannot use your hands, and you resolve that problem within milliseconds, correct? You demonstrated your resilience by that, figuring out a new way to behave when old ways are not working, when old tools are not available. It reminds me of a motivational speaker, Nicholas James Vujicic. I hope that you know this gentleman. He was born with a very rare disorder characterized by the absence of legs and arms, but it doesn't stop him. There's a beautiful example of resilience. How from one fixed mindset, he managed to move to the growth mindset. And now he's doing surfing. Yes. He's doing those kinds of sports I haven't even thought of trying myself. However, we take so many things for granted, right? So we take things for granted. And on the other hand, we focus on things that we are missing. That leads me to the next concept to be introduced to you. Refresh your mind if you're aware of that, called the missing tile syndrome. Yes or no in the chat? Have you heard about that? Any ideas what that could be about? All right. Some of you said yes, no, 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 no. I'm glad that you said yes, because you have a chance to polish that and refresh. Those who said no, it's beautiful. We're going to discover that together. So this term, the missing tile syndrome, was coined by the American radio show host and writer Dennis Prager. He described this situation. Imagine that you enter the room, a perfectly furnished room, perfectly set and organized. I think that could be your living room because it's perfect because you have designed it yourself. Anyway, you enter this room, you sit down, you look up at the tiled ceiling, and you notice that one tile is missing. Just one little tile. All the rest is perfect. Question. What would you concentrate your vision on? Within the next 30 minutes that you're asked to stay in that room, even if the presenter is in that room giving you a nice speech, probably you are given an option of high Wi-Fi and you can stream and watch any video, but your attention, yes, missing tile, exactly. You will question millions of questions in your head. Why is it missing there? Yes, why they just spoil this beautiful picture with this tile, and you will stock your full attention on the missing tile. That is fine with the ceilings, because what you can do, you can take this missing tile or another one and replace it, and the ceiling will look perfect. But it doesn't apply to life. Most of the things that we might miss in our life cannot be that easily replaced or at all replaced. This is the irony of life. So it cannot be perfect. I know it sounds a little bit pessimistic and upsetting, but this is the reality. That's another thing for resilient people to remember. There's nothing perfect there, but we can make it better. So for that reason, that life cannot be perfect. Well, hopefully, yes, we do it close to the perfect, but all times it cannot be. Concentrating on one missing tile in your life is a big problem. And by the way, this researcher, this writer who invented this concept, the missing tile syndrome, gave a lot of examples in his stories how it works in reality. Funny ones. One of them is his friend. He has lost his hair a long time ago. And his friend confessed that every single time when he enters the room and sees a lot of people, the only thing he concentrates his attention on is people with beautiful hair. The same, it could be with ladies that would like to get a baby, and whenever they visit big gatherings, they always concentrate on those ladies who are pregnant or with kids. As Prager says, the missing tile syndrome is a big obstacle to happiness. It makes happiness almost impossible. So there will be always something missing in your life. When you see other people's kids, when you especially browse those beautifully sad pictures on social media, you feel that you are missing something. But what resilience helps to do, to understand that you can make it better. So we always have, with the resilient mindset, with the growth mindset, we always have a choice to focus on the missing part or to focus on something that we still have and we can be proud of, we can be capable of doing. Because if we miss what we have, we can destroy that by the thought that what we are not having. So yes, this is the human nature. We need to accept this. We need to remember that we focus on things that we don't have. Good or bad, but this is the reality. What we can do, what are the strategies to reset, to reframe our mind? One of the strategy is named ABCD strategy. So this is a great way, an easy one, to move ourselves on the path from the adversity to opportunity. So let's look at that together. So ABCD, very easy to remember. I like acronyms because later on you can follow this model very quickly. So the first one is adversity. Let's acknowledge this is something in our life that we cannot change. It can be bigger or smaller. So yeah, we can go back to the economic situation. We can go back to the imposed lockdown rules and we are limiting our walking around. It could be. So it's A, admit it, shape it, describe it, make it clear for yourself. B is about belief. It's our reaction to the event. So why we thought it happened, what we think it means for us in the future. Is this the temporary problem or it penetrates into other fields of my life? Is there something where I can find the solution, or this is something I classify is very hard to resolve, unresolvable? So if you focus on the first part of these statements, how you see it, absolutely, it goes back to the question how we see that. If we focus on the first part of that, we are into the positive consequences. So now C comes into play. Yes, great. So we are talking about positive consequences. It's there. We are happy. We are ready to embrace the growth mindset. When we are focusing on the second part of the statement about the adversity, that it's not resolvable, it's going to get inside and have this ripple effect on our other fields of life, this is negative consequences set. When you see this is the negative consequence set, the next thing you have to do, you have to embrace and activate disputation. Disputation means that first you have to tell yourself that your belief is just a belief, right? It's not the fact. Overall, 80% of our internal thoughts are based on our interpretation of facts. Can you believe that? 80%, and it may not be true. Even if you see the fact, you may interpret it in the way that it's not the reality. That's why when you see the consequences of your consideration of the event are negative, put disputation or disruption into play. The idea is that things are never as bad as they seem. It is actually fact-based on our fundamental biology. Thousands of years of evolution of a humankind have made us be so remarkably adaptive to different extreme life circumstances. Adversity never hits us as hard and as long as we think it might. Simply speaking, the human psychology is so that we are much more resilient. It's in our DNA. It's deep rooted, hardwired than we believe we are. So we fall victim to immune neglect, which means we consistently forget how good our psychological immune system. So we completely forget about that because it's very comfortable. It's very easy. It is such a pleasing feeling to be on the side of a victim. This is their fault. They don't help me. They don't give me resources. And you know, when you are victimizing yourself, more likely you will find someone who will empathize with you. There's a good coalition. Nothing glues people in the pantry area, bus stop, when someone is complaining about something. But on the other hand, so adapt, not adopt. I like it, Mohammed. That's exactly what I wanted to reshape. On the other hand, knowing this tweak in human psychology, that we fear consequences more than consequences themselves, we need to think about how to set our mind in a positive manner. This is another Chinese wisdom. So Chinese culture is very wise. There are many philosophers there, and I don't know how much you're familiar with the Chinese language. I'm not, but I like some of their words. One of the words that I like very much, this is the word crisis. Let me do my best and say it with the Chinese accent. Wei Chi. I hope that sounds this way. So if you look at this word, it consists of two parts. The first part of that word is wei, means danger. The second part of that word is ji, and that means opportunity. So it much depends how you explain the situation you are now witnessing and experiencing. And it brings us back to Seligman, the father of learned optimism. Yes, it's about your mindset. Absolutely. It's about the way how you explain things. Here we're talking about explanatory style. What is an explanatory style? Have you heard about that? So that's another thing for you as a takeaway? No? All right. No problem. Good. Explanatory style basically means how you explain things happening to you. Let me give you a very good example, because I'm pretty much sure 99% of the time you experience that when you exit the highway. Let's imagine that you are in the best of your moods. You're heading towards the office. It's going to be a very important presentation to be delivered in front of the group of your colleagues, a turning point in your career. You have rehearsed. You're in a peaceful mind. You're so happy, perfect, on time. At this moment, when you're about to take the exit, someone cuts in front of you rapidly, very rudely, and you have to brake so quickly that you almost hit your steering wheel. What is the very first reaction of yours and explanation of the situation? What comes to your mind very first thing? Be open, please share that. Oh my God, this is very sensitive, I would say, Hanan. Yes? Yes, very big anger. You remember like Hulk character in the movie getting bigger, like inflated with this anger. Well, Nura, that's a good one. Thanks. Thanks God I'm safe. Yes. You might even take over this driver, look at him, and just give this staring full of anger look. How you dare. Yes. So if you look at this situation, how you can explain that? Yes, that's the next step, to take the deep breath and bring your senses back to the normal. But it takes time. This guy might have forgotten about that, but you can live it through it and again the whole day ahead, and it can impact the way how you present. So going back to how we explain that to ourselves, there could be internal explanation, meaning, all right, that is not saying, I'm not saying it's my fault, but this is something that I have to pay attention next time more optimistic, more balanced with the approach of self-analysis. There could be an external explanation, right? This is his fault, stupid, where did you get your driving license? So going back to what Martin Seligman identified, this is the way how we explain things. Look at three components. By the way, in the following up email, you will receive the assessment where you can identify yourself, where you are standing on the bright side of the optimist thinking mindset or on the darker side. So three components are being analyzed there. Let's have a look at them together. The first one is how much it is an isolated event. Is it only around this situation? And optimistic people believe, yes, it happened now, but it's not going to impact my other activities and my overall mood. Pessimists do this opposite. So even about good events, they think that it is something that is not going to help to deal with other things. Temporary. Is it something like happening right now? Analyzed, fixed, changed, and go ahead. So temporary means that for bad events, so pessimists believe that is permanent, continuous. But for good events, temporary, it's happening only now. It's just maybe my luck. That's it. Another thing, component here to analyze, your effort. Did you yourself invest in that? Is there a bit of your help to make it better or to make this good event happening? Of course, optimists think about this way. Good events, yes, because I tried. So, however, pessimists believe that it is my personal I would say lack of knowledge. This is my fault. They are going not into blaming others only, but yourself as well. So this is how you can look at the concept of explanatory style. I'm not going deeper into that. You will get this assessment and you will see how you can analyze yourself. And by the way, others, because you can distribute this assessment to other team members. All right, there's a question, Mohammed. How do you deal with someone in your team, that is your manager, who is a pessimist if you are an optimist? Well, I would say this is one of the most difficult things to handle because when it happens, the clash. But what I would say in any situation, when you deal with something opposite and actually providing the feedback, more constructive, developmental, showing the brighter side of the situation, try to make it less emotional, more factual. What is the benefit of being an optimist? Not because you're just always smiling, that's it. That's a very shallow perception of optimism. Explain, yes? Coach, yes. Explain how you feel differently if you are more optimistic, if you look at the brighter side, if you try and risk and probably analyze later with the learned skill, with the learned mistake lesson. So this is the thing how it works. The more you're into facts and illustrate with your own behavior, the better. However, I'm not saying it's easy, especially when two extremes meet. It can be quite challenging. Right, so we go back to the question of optimism is everything. And to sum it up, that sometimes we do have the impact on the circle of concern. Sometimes we have purely to get back to the circle of influence. I remember this quote from Maya Angelou, one of my favorite writers. If you don't like something, change it. If you cannot change it, change your attitude. Simple as that. And one of the things that will make you stronger in that is to identify what are your strengths. Because when you know what your strengths are, they will help you to pave the way to the growth mindset. They will help you see how you can enhance, excel your strengths. And there's nothing wrong to acknowledge, I do have strengths. For this activity, we have some time left. That will be exactly the final activity for today. I want you to look at the list of questions, choose one question. You will be broken down into different rooms randomly with different participants, and you can unmute yourself and give 1 minute answer to one of those questions. It's about your strengths. So have a look at this list of questions, please. Choose one that you would like to share your experiences, description of yours with the rest of the team. So welcome to choose one question. They're all about the positive side of yours. Why not talk about this? All right, so now we're going to break you down for the next 4-5 minutes into the breakout rooms. And your task will be to talk with people inside. And you will also have only 5 minutes for that activity. The timer will be on the right top corner. When the time is up, go back to the main room. So one question for you. Discuss this question for 1 minute and let others share as well. You are welcome. today's session, hello. Okay, so yeah, I want you to always remember, and sorry for showing this picture again, what is your snake? So what steps you can take to move yourself to the opportunity to grow? Because if we do not expose ourselves to challengers, we don't have the opportunity to grow. Beautiful quote of Jeff Bezos. I don't think that there's a need to introduce this gentleman. What's dangerous is not to evolve. Just another half a minute of your time, if you don't mind. I have very last activity for you. For this activity, I would like you to pull out your phones. Can you do this for me? And locate the QR code scanner on your phone. It could be if you are having an iPhone, it could be embedded. It's actually in the camera embedded. If it is not this platform, Android, you can find the QR code scanner. So if you have this available, I would like you to take half a minute of your time, and read this QR code from the screen. If you don't have it, I'm going to share the link with you in the chat. We do appreciate and value your comments. We would like you to have a minute of your time and share your feedback about today's session. So now I'm posting the link alternatively in the chat for your reference. If you don't have a QR code, we would like to see what other topics you're interested in. And we would like to know where and how you would like to get learning bites from us. By the way, follow us on social media platforms as well as LinkedIn, where you can get much more, not only about resilience, but something else. So thank you very much for your time, for your open mind, for the demonstration of the growth mindset, which I really experienced a lot today. I would like you to take care of yourself. Enjoy your weekend. If you have any questions, we are here online for the next 15 minutes. You're the most welcome to use this opportunity. So please take care. See you some other time and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.